Hey, Tuesday night, Total Schmidt Show. Let's do this. Total Schmidt Show Season 3 is upon us. Tune in every week. I talk to entertainers from all over the world. Singers, dancers, comics, musicians, drummers, blah, blah, blah. All kinds. Techs, even some cruise directors. Most of the entertainers I talk to work on cruise ships. If you ever wanted to know what entertainers do, how they get through their day, any of the behind-the-scenes stuff about entertaining, we'll talk about that stuff here, as well as we'll delve into some of the entertainers and some of their works, some of their albums coming up, some of the things they've done in the past, things you can look forward to in the future. All that stuff you can catch here on Total Schmidt Show. But either way, get yourself a pizza, a beer, some bourbon, light up a cigar, or some sort of joint, or whatever type of crutch or vice you need to get through the evening, and sit back and enjoy whatever it is I put together this week on You're welcome. Hey, it's Tuesday. Welcome to Total Schmidt Show. How are you doing? If you're watching on YouTube, first of all, our guest is Jason Stuart. He'll be here in a couple of seconds. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up, please. Subscribe even to my YouTube channel. Subscribe. It's Mr. Lenny Schmidt everywhere on all social media platforms. If you're listening on a podcast platform, subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to make it all real easy, just go to lennyschmidt.com. Everything you need is right there. Subscribe to the page. There's free packages, there's paid packages, there's video content packages, all kinds of stuff. You can watch my content, enjoy it all for free, or you can pay for it if you think it's worth it. That's how I roll. So there you go. I got Jason Stuart on today. I was thrilled to get him and really happy. He's one of those guys I love to have on the show. If you watched the show or listened before, you know that I like to talk to entertainers that kind of pave their own way. There was a day when you started out and you hoped somebody would discover you, and nowadays you just have to discover or make your own career. Jason is easily one of those guys. He's a producer, exec producer, a writer, director, filmmaker, actor, stand-up comic. He had a award-winning web series called Smothered, 2 seasons that you can find. And also he has a short film that he's doing, putting together, budgeting for now, and started shooting already, Redlining, which the GoFundMe for that is going to be in the bio of the show here. So check it out. Check out Jason's stuff. He's got a huge library of work, a huge backlog. He's been around a long time. He's made himself a really respectable career and someone to look up to in this business. I think everyone should check out his stuff. And I got to talk with him for about an hour. Also, in the pod, you'll notice I was wearing a tank top for half of it. And I noticed it after I started recording. It's a long story, but he called me out on it. And he was correct. I felt like a slob, and I just feel like an idiot. Whatever. I was wearing a tank top for half of the show. So then I changed to put on a t-shirt. So that's how I upgraded, I guess. But sit back and enjoy my conversation right now with the one and only Jason Stuart. Right away. I checked out all your stuff and your website and stuff. Man, I love the fact you shot your own series. That is badass. That is really cool.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I've made a lot of my own things.
Yeah. No, I knew you had done some of your own stuff, but the fact you're working on, you've got a whole season of a series up on 4 different platforms. Yeah, 2 seasons. Oh, the second's out already? Because I was looking at it. I didn't know the second season was out.
21 and 23, I believe.
I was watching some of the clips. And dude, really great. Where you're perfect for the show because I love. Man, I just love there was a line you said in one of your promos that was. You will not wait for the permission to create. I love that line alone. Is really badass, and more people should follow that. You know what I mean? Because there was a day when we started out when you waited for a manager to sign you and people to give you deals and people to do stuff, and people that fight their way through and find the way to do their own stuff, I think make a difference and make the coolest stuff, and that's really impressive to have.
Well, thank you. The only idea I had about show business was two or three things. Marlo Thomas on That Girl, where she'd walk around with her picture and, at the beginning of the show, and she'd try to get a job as an actress. And then at the beginning of the show, somebody would go, I want that girl. And she'd go, and that would be it. And then they'd find her. And then the other thing was that old movie Imitation of Life, where Lana Turner would walk around and she couldn't leave her house because she had in case the phone, someone would call,
Oh
and
God, that's funny.
so she'd have the phone and she'd keep it wherever she went
Right.
on, on a long, long cord. So I used to think that was the way to do things.
Sure.
I used to go to the studios when I first started, and I'd go with my, uh, briefcase with pictures and resumes, and I'd go around or to all the offices, and I would drop off my pictures and try to be funny and cute. And I was funny and cute,
Yeah.
but I wasn't this guy that I am now. I didn't have this voice or this kind of self-esteem, and I didn't know who I was. And
Right.
I know they didn't want to hire me no matter what
Right. Right. Yeah, but yeah,
because I was gay,
yeah, right. Okay, right. Um uh but and you created yourself. I mean, totally you've created your own career. You know what I mean? That's which is completely which is impressive now. Which is badass. I've always known you as a funny stand-up and just to go out there and make it happen for yourself. That's cool, man. I used to do that, walk around the studios and try to get attention and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to say as far as how badass that is to be.
I remember I went to a seminar once, and Barbara Miller, who was a big casting director at Lorimar, and I remember when I was a kid, and she was doing some sort of workshop or something where someone would interview her, and you'd ask questions and pay money that you didn't have. And she said, "Oh, no, no, nobody can get on the lot. Sometimes you have to just sort of, you know, be very, very careful because there's the guard there." What I would do is I would just walk in. I'd have my briefcase, I'd wave at the guy, and then I'd go in. And this is before, they had security and got, all the things
Right. Yeah.
you do in the bar, in the old days. And I would just walk around. I'd have lunch at Universal with a friend, and we'd walk around and we'd act like we were in show business.
Yeah. Act like you belong there. If you walk
Yeah,
in, they won't
def-
stop you. Yeah. You just look like you belong.
definitely.
They won't even look twice. Now let me ask you. You just said a second ago you dropped off headshots and stuff at different studios and different casting directors. They wouldn't. Did you think they wouldn't hire you because you were gay, or they
No, I
wouldn't
didn't
hire
have
you?
to think it because they tell me.
Seriously, this is
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the. This has got to be. Well, this is at the beginning, right? So we're talking
In
late
the
'80s.
80s. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They would just look at me and they'd have their, code words, you're light in the loafers, you're too
Oh God. Right.
flamboyant, you'll
Yeah.
work later when you're older, you're like Paul Lynn or Charles Nelson Riley or Rip Taylor, which is like the death.
Right.
It's like a beautiful woman going to Lifetime. That's where movies, that's where it ends.
Right. Right. Right.
That's where there's no creativity. And I started as an actor wanting to be like the next Dustin Hoffman or Geraldine Page. And I mean, I went to class when I was 14 years old. I started studying and I wanted to be a serious actor and I wanted to do great work with great people. I remember going to see Jenna Rollins in A Woman Under the Influence, the Cassavetes film. And my acting class teacher said, if you don't go to see that, you can't come back to class.
Yeah.
And I saw this with Peter Falk from Columbo, and I knew him. I didn't know her at all. And I'd never heard of John Cassavetes. And I went in and I was just mesmerized by the depth and the creativity and the risk taking. I thought, is that real? Is that what real acting is? And that's where I started. And then I just worked my way down.
You worked your way down.
My mind of what I was able to attain.
Well, did you start? Well, then you started acting before you're doing stand up.
Oh, wait, I never wanted to be a comedian. I never
Okay.
had a lifelong dream of doing stand-up comedy and being tortured by the same straight boys who tortured me in school, who got more money and were treated better and and let in the door because of their straight white, boy privilege.
Yeah.
Can I say the F word on this?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan. Yeah.
Fuck no. Why would I want to be in that group of guys that grabbed me and treated me like I was a, second class citizen, right?
Right.
Basically, and I didn't go to college because I was gay, because I was afraid of all you guys.
Wow.
So I just started doing it because I had a manager named Catherine James who I talked into taking me on. We would do these showcases, where you pay to be in it, and they'd rent a theater, and then they'd have a lunch, and the casting directors would come, and you do, you know, I guess 45 minutes of scenes, and then they'd have lunch, and you talk to them for 2 seconds, and that would be it. And I did this funny scene from a play called Nasty Habits with a woman named Louise Diana that had a dash in between her name.
Yeah.
Louise Diana. And we played this couple, this rich couple. and it was very funny. And this manager said, "You were terrific. You had great timing. Da 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 da. But I can't take you. What can I do with somebody like you?" And I said, "Just meet me." So I went into her office and, got on my knees and begged. And she started to represent me. It was Catherine, Carytern, James, Jaymes. That many Y's, you knew, there was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And she was terrific. And she was Quentin Tarantino's first manager, I believe, or one of his.
Okay.
And of course, I wasn't with her when that happened. And I wound up working in her office, finding out that she loved that just a little too much. And I wound up working for her, organizing things. But yet she was so smart and so elegant and so classy. I learned so many things from her. And I just learned so much. And that was the beginning of me doing that. And she said to me, "You're really funny. You should do stand up. It's really hip and cool now." I said, "I'm not a stand up. I'm an actor." And she said, "You should do this." And I said, "I can't. I don't even know how to. I'm not a writer. It took me forever to even say that I could write." So I remember writing down. This was like 81 or something, and I remember writing down my whole act about being a fat kid because I certainly couldn't talk about anything real, other than being a fat kid and having a Jewish family. And I went. She got me an audition at the Comedy Store, and I went up and I had a bathroom scale around my neck and a really light one with a necktie for my dad's necktie. And I talked about how fat I was. And I wasn't even fat,
Right. Right.
but I was so nervous and so crazy. I had this sort of crazy, nervous, nuts kind of way of being. And
Right.
was somewhere between Charles Nelson Riley and Marlo Thomas on That Girl. And I was funny. And they said you could be a non-paid showcasing regular, which is probably the lowest that you could be at the Comedy Store. So I would
Right.
invite people to come and see me every other week so I could have a spot. And I started doing stuff. And then the third place I went was the Laugh Factory. And for some reason, Jamie Masada liked me, and I'm still working there.
Oh, right on.
So that's how it went in comedy. And then I started to procure this image of Pee Wee Herman and Judy Tenuta and Emo Phillips, and I with this leopard jacket and this zebra pants and spiking up my hair, and I would dance in a circle because I didn't want nobody to know that I was gay. I was so clueless on anything. And I did, if you could, I have them somewhere, but if you watch any tapes of me when I was young, it was me almost playing the part of a comedian.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say because you got
I
to be
was,
totally come out of yourself to
I
be
couldn't be
someone else.
myself.
You
I
couldn't be
couldn't be
yourself.
myself. I didn't
Right.
even
Right.
know who I was because there was nobody for me to be. It's like I meet all you guys, especially the New York guys. You're all like, "This is what we're doing,"
Yeah.
da, da, da.
Right. Right.
And you all of a sudden become this guy from your neighborhood, whether it was your neighborhood or not. Or I live in Palm Springs, and there's these uh, wannabe gangster people. They
Oh,
all want.
everything in Palm
Oh yeah,
Springs.
there's a lot of them. They love the whole the mafia thing. They're all talking.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Hey, Lenny. Lenny, what are you doing for lunch? We're all gonna do lunch. Just show up and don't do any bullshit. Don't bring the
Yeah.
girls, just the guys. This is what we're
This
doing.
is guys. So guys, they're playing like they're under the relocation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Keep the guns in the car.
Don't tell anyone about it. No
Yeah,
pictures.
you know what I mean. So I didn't really know who I was, and I didn't know and when I realize who I am is I'm a quiet, kind of shy guy that doesn't like to talk to a lot of people that I don't know. But I create the idea as an actor of who I am for each part, and that's the way I've done it. And I just kept trying to recreate myself, but I didn't even think of it about as recreating. So if anybody's listening who's just wanting to be in the biz, it was all about the passion for the work.
Right.
I realized that I was funny, and around 2 years later, I got on Star Search and Merv Griffin. 2 or 3 years later, it was 83 is when I really started doing stand up. And then when I got on Star Search, it was the 2 years later, yeah, the 84, 85 season. And I won one. It was like, what? And then I realized, okay, maybe I'm good at this.
Right.
And then I lost to Martin Lawrence, and I was so, crazy that I thought it would be so funny if I just stamped my foot and I walked off,
Yeah.
shaking his hand. And everybody thought it was so funny and bold at the time, but it doesn't look good in this world today where everybody goes on YouTube and everybody's a snowflake, So
Yeah, right. Everybody's all,
who the hell does this guy think he is? Look what happened to his career.
yeah.
You know,
Who's Jason? Yeah, right.
yeah,
Exactly.
Martin Lawrence, he's terrific. He's a big movie star, TV star. What happened to Jason? Jesus, no one. And then of course there's the F word and all the things they said about me.
Yeah.
It got each page got worse and worse and
Oh,
worse.
geez.
It
You
was
just gotta
like,
just not read that shit, man.
oh
I
no, it
mean,
did. After a while, when did that? When I did Joey Diaz's podcast, oh my God, they were ready to rip me to shreds if I talked about anything that would have happened to me being a gay person in this world today.
oh,
Well,
really?
it's 2025,
Yeah, right.
there goes your rights. They're picking up the Mexicans today and gays are Thursday. The Jews are Friday. Oh, I'm in
Oh,
both cards.
yeah, you get
Okay.
both cars.
Thank you. Good
You'll
night,
get your
everyone.
rooms. You'll get your rooms.
Exactly. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to prison. Wanted to go see my ex. Okay.
Dude, that's really I'm trying to I'm you brought up white privilege. It's a good conversation to
Straight
have with
white
you.
heterosexual privilege.
White
Straight.
heterosexual person. Okay.
There is because you guys are, especially in comedy, it's your field.
You're right.
It's a straight boy. There were three kinds of comics when it first started, if you remember. There were vaudeville comedians, which
Right.
were white guys.
Right.
That was the big best thing. There was the Chitlin Circuit, which for the
Right.
black comedians, and
Right.
there was the Borscht Bet for the Jewish comedians. And
Right.
if you really got really popular, you got to work in the other places, where the Bob Hopes and all those kind of people would work,
Right.
George Burns, and no women at all. And
None
if there
right.
were women, they'd have to sing or be the second banana to a guy. I mean, even now when you go into a club, you never see an even amount of women to men.
No, still not.
No, no, not at all. Unless it's booked by another comedian. If it's a producer, if it's a comedian show that's produced by a comedian,
Right.
I've three, four gay people on a bill.
Right.
The other night at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, there was two gay people on the bill, two black people, an Asian person, and a Jew. Never saw a show so diverse in my life.
Right. Right.
So the times are changing. So I'm not complaining completely. Things are changing. Have gotten a lot better.
Right. Well, I still, cause I work on cruise ships a lot. Those I end up working cruise ships quite a bit. And I was just having this conversation last night with, Jan Karam, actually, who you know, Jan. She's been
Oh,
around
of
forever.
course. She's a
And
doll.
she's great, very funny. But we're
She
talking
doing
about
the,
working
she doing
ships.
the cruises? Is she doing
No, I told her she should be. I was like, we were having where I was at a club in the Chateau in North Hollywood this weekend, and we just started talking. And I told her one of the things I said was, there aren't many women comics out there on the cruise
I
ships.
had two good friends, Sheila Kay and Michelle Ballon had done them a lot.
I know Michelle really well. I love Michelle from New
Sheila
York.
Kay
She's
did,
dynamite.
yeah, she's very funny.
Yeah, I've had her on the pod a while ago, and I know Sheila Kay. I've known her forever, but I've known Michelle longer. But I don't see many. I don't see many comics, many female comics. And I was telling women comics. I told Jan, I'm like, she should easily be on it. For Jan, the question is whether or not she would like the lifestyle. It's a very different lifestyle. You're living in a ship, you know what I mean, and it's a lot of travel. But when you mention not many women on the bill, I work all over the place. I see very few women comics on the cruise ships, and they could use more like really good women comics. And I bring it up because there's good women comics out there. Like Jan's a
Wow.
great comic. She's dynamite, and I'm surprised. In fact, I was surprised she wasn't on ships. It's such a market now that a lot of working comics end up on a ship. And anyway, I gave her a reference. I was going to give her a reference and told her to call, but I don't notice many women or
I think because they focus on what they call mainstream.
right, 100%.
It's since we were kids, it's not going to work in Ohio.
Right,
The Tonight Show guy, I remember it was 2004, and I won't say the name. People who are in the biz will know. And I remember that there was a booker there who used to book at the Improv. And
okay,
I
yeah,
knew him because I worked in the Improv a lot because I lived down the block and he was great to me. And then I called him, I said, congratulations, you got the Tonight Show, you and your your booking partner. He was with a team of two
Right,
guys.
right.
And I said, what do I got to do to get on the show? He said, can you do the show without being gay? And that was 11 years into being out. And it's just like, it was like a crack to my knees. It just broke me,
Really?
totally broke me. And I just said, fuck it. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know, remember, you ever see the movie Fame, where she knew she couldn't be a dancer anymore and she throws her ballet shoes on the thing and they thought she was so upset because they kicked her out of it, and she threw, and she said, I'll go into acting.
Right.
So from 2004, as I stopped trying to get on talk shows and I focused on making money as a comedian, which I did. And because I had three really strong markets, the clubs, the colleges, and the gay events.
Right.
So I was able to make a lot, make a bit of money in those days. And then I really went back to class and I started playing straight people. And I stopped being the funny guy on sitcoms because there weren't any more sitcoms. By the time 2004, 2005,
Yeah, right.
those kind of three camera sitcoms were not popular anymore and they seem old school.
Right.
So there are some good ones now, Mom and a couple others that were really great. But just the art form, the style of that kind of comedy, when you have so much more depth to other comedies, I don't think it plays as in the same way. And then I
Right.
started going to Ivana Chubbuck's class and Larry Moss's class, and I just started going back and going back to my roots, and still enjoying doing comedy,
Right.
when I could.
Well, you can reach a point where you enjoy it more because you're being yourself and you're being true to yourself. You know what I mean? And you're doing what you want. Like at least we have the ability now, like this podcast. So many things you're shooting your own stuff. You have the ability to do your own things now. Like it's a lot more accessible than it was back in 1988 or whatever.
I just wanted to be better. Like
Right.
and I think probably around, I don't know, when COVID hit, I hit a peak in terms of stand up of feeling really great about what I was doing. And I just thought, and then I saw all these kids and all these people, the under 40 crowd, putting on these little clips of them doing crowd work.
Right.
Now, I always did crowd work. That's probably the best thing that I do. I'm a weaver.
Right.
And I do my show almost like I'm talking to you.
Right.
Like I'm your friend and I'm the spice in the oatmeal, or I'm your funny cousin or your funny uncle, or
Right.
I'm the different one. And I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't want to be here. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me. Whatever has happened, the worse day I have, the better the comedy usually is. And so I started that, and then when COVID came, it just completely made me rethink stuff about, because we couldn't work for 2 years.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
I never, I never had not had sex for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, that was,
Yeah.
you know,
It was a harsh wake up call in a lot of
oh,
ways.
that one went on right here in my apartment. Somebody goes on one of the dating lines. He says, I'd like to, hook up with you. And I said, it's COVID. I'm not doing that. And I
Yeah.
don't want to do it that much. He said, well, no, we don't have to do it in person. Just stand in front of your slider and just do it. And I said, well, look, this is the deal. I live on the second floor. He said, it doesn't matter. I got an umbrella. You know, I mean, so it was, it just sort of changed the way I thought about what I was doing. And I realized that for comedy, then I see like Joel Kim Brewster and I see Mateo Lane, two guys who are, they're like these gorgeous, buffed out, sexy men doing stand up,
Yeah.
and both very funny. It seemed crazy because it used to be the place for people that look like you and I. That they're not. We could be
Right.
sexy, but you're not perfect looking.
No, no, there was an
These
offbeat
guys
thing
are
to it.
chiseled and it's like we used to. Bob Dubek was the only comedian that looked that good that was doing stand-up,
Was handsome, right?
who's handsome, and there was a couple really pretty girls.
Oh God.
Maureen Murphy used to be considered just a
Right.
cute girl, and even who I think is still terrific, Elaine Boozler. God,
Yeah.
so sorry that she went away because I saw her recently at a political thing, and I thought, my God, this gal is great.
Yeah.
The older we get, the better we get in a
Yeah.
way.
100%. Well,
And
yeah, go ahead. Well, you're more knowledgeable, and you got, you know, what I mean, you're a little more aware of the world, and you're a better writer. You're understanding things differently, and so yeah, comics get better if you keep working. I think with
I
age.
think so too. Yeah, I think that's the shame of that is that, and that older people don't come to the clubs,
Right, right,
because, and I think it's for my group of people, my fans, especially gay men, they don't want to come to a comedy club where they're because straight boys, you're all obsessed with us.
right.
Thank God the transgender people got a little more popular, so you could become a little obsessed with them.
To take the
Now
heat
it's
off you guys.
believe
Yeah,
me, I'm like a black guy at an airport now. You
yeah,
know, the black guys going, oh, thank God, the Mexicans and the Indians and the Middle Eastern people are getting it, and they're leaving us alone for a minute. We
right,
have a breather. But
right,
that's what,
right, right,
because there's so much. If there isn't racism someplace, they got to find it.
yeah, right.
We got to separate
Where can
everybody.
I put my hate? Where can I put
Yeah,
my hate?
exactly. Who's
Got
the
to go
new people?
somewhere. Hey,
Who's the new ones?
who's on the list? Who's next on the list?
Yeah. So I started creating things again, and I did this series that you were talking about called Smothered, which is about these two guys who have been in a relationship for over 30 years, who hate each other and can't afford to get divorced. And I play a completely different character than myself. I play the wifey kind of guy who I based the character on Edith Bunker.
Right, right.
But a dim bulb and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And it was a comedy drama, and we got nominated for 15 Indie Series Awards, and I won Best Actor, and I was nominated again. We got nominated for writing in the series, and Queer Tea Awards. We were nominated, and we were in 10 or 12 film festivals for series, which is unusual because there's not that many series festivals that do series.
Yeah, right.
And it was really a great thing to do. It was really a lot of fun, and I learned a lot because I was the showrunner of the show. So we work with two theater directors. So my partner in it, my business partner, not a boyfriend partner, Mitch Hara, who's just totally brilliant and funny and such a great guy. And we did this together, and it was almost like a triangle. The two of us and the director, we had two different theater directors for each season. So both of us are very filmatic. So we were very involved in the creation and the directorial of it. So there was a sort of it was a group thing. So I really got see, even though we weren't directors officially, we were creating shots, we were creating looks. It was just the same thing that I did on my new film Redlining.
Right. Yeah, well, and that's great. Well, that gives you the power and the knowledge to move forward and do more stuff going forward. You know what I mean? Now you're stepping into different things, like the new film you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. So now you got all this information. That's fantastic. That's great.
It's really interesting because in the last 20 years, that's what you feel. Like I did, what did I do recently? I headlined Gay Pride in Portland. And they asked me, they were trying to figure out what would they said, we don't really have comedians anymore. And I said, why? She said that the crowds just don't they can't seem to focus because most of the crowds are 20s and 30s. And they're in this swipe mentality.
Right.
So I said, why don't I MC the show and I will create this whole thing and talk about what's going on in the world and hold up all the performers. But I want, but I'm a headliner. So I get the billing and the photo and everything the same size as all the other people. And I'm at this thing and I'm going there, completely with hat in hand and completely without any ego because I used to like to go in and go out.
Right.
And I got to be able to support all these really young LGBTQ people. And it was really strange and different because the things that were getting the biggest responses and the biggest crowds were almost circus-like acts.
Okay.
And before it started, they said, I'd get on the microphone and say, come up, I said, sure. I said, everyone's going to be here. Barbara Streisand, Whitney Houston, da, da, da. And then, of course, didn't even know it. There's guys doing impressions of Barbara Streisand and Whitney Houston.
Oh, great.
It's almost like if you're going on before, after Lenny Bruce or Richard Pryor or Toady Fields or Joan Rivers or somebody, Don Rickles or some great person, you can't follow that. That's comes with so much uh, history. So even somebody sings "Don't Rain on My Parade" by Barbara Streisand, and you're coming on just as yourself, or you just coming on as a singer. There was another headliner singer. Oh my God, Frenchie Davis, who's just what a voice.
Yeah.
But they seemed more. interested in all the circus people, and she sang some great ballads and some great things, and she was just so terrific. Got a great response, but it was interesting to see what happened. So you realize in the world how to adjust to your place,
Right, right,
and how to find where you can be the most of service in the comedy community.
right, right. Well, you adapt. I think that's one thing comics do over time. Yeah, actually, any entertainer if you're in the entertainment business, you have to adapt to the way the business is changing over time.
I just
So
have to say one thing. Does this shirt make me look like a clown? Do I
no,
look
you
clown-esque?
look fantastic. I feel bad about my shirt. I forgot to change. I'm wearing this fucking tank top now.
Yeah, I would find something to wear other. What's in the back of you? Can you just,
Would
because
you,
it's,
boy, behind me? You want
what's,
me to change? You want me to put on a
oh,
different
I
shirt?
think you should definitely. That's
You're a
just,
good call. It's kind of blame. Hold on.
put something on, my God. And take the shot, the fakakta schmata off the back of the chair. Right.
I don't have people with
And don't leave it
sunglasses
in the
behind me.
back because what is in the back there? What is that, a pool table? Is that a bed? That's a bed, isn't it? If you changed online, we could call this only comics. Uh, much better.
Okay.
But
Better?
that's a bed behind you.
There is a bed behind me.
Are you in your bedroom?
Yes, this is my
Is your
wife.
mother in the other room?
No,
She's
no.
not
That's
allowed to
my
go
mom's upstairs. I live in the
there?
basement.
Right, right.
No, you're not supposed to see the bed. When I get
You're not supposed to see the bed. It's right behind
I know
you.
it's right behind me. It's the best I can do, Jason.
Well, look at me. What a difference.
You've got a classy setup behind you. I
Yeah.
get it. I'm always trying to fit into a corner somewhere.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
well,
apologize. But it looked like the shirt. I'm glad you
not
said
for
something
me,
about
it's for you.
the shirt was bothering me from the moment we started. I was like, maybe I should just stop and change my shirt.
Yeah, well, is this the only show you've changed clothes on?
Huh? This is it. Yeah, it is. Well, you're the only person to call it out. I'm glad you did.
Well, I'm here to help.
I'm glad you did. Thank you. I felt horrible. I was like, at least, like, I've done the pot on the beach before, and I've been in a tank top. It's a little bit different. And I have my dog is here, so
Do you like working on the ships? I'd rather kill myself.
I
And
I'll be honest with you. Like, we want to talk about adapting. I never ever wanted to work on a ship, but then when I
I've
got
done it a couple times, believe
yeah,
me. I
no,
have.
you did right. Didn't you do the princess gig the last couple of years? They did
Oh
that.
yeah, did you
That
hear
one.
about it? Was there
No,
discussion?
no. I know you had it. I knew you were doing it because I
Oh
knew
my God, it
what
was
happened.
the worst
Oh
experience
God.
ever. And I told the guy, I said that he wanted to, he said, no, we're gonna, and it was good money and it was a one-time thing, exactly like I like. But they had me in a lounge.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in fact was one of those Globotron stages that said comedy, really big, blinking, and I'm on a dance floor and there's like 6 tables in front of me. And then the rest of the place has got circles, like circles where they have a bottle service. So that somebody
Yeah.
could be watching the show and hey, like this, you
Oh
know,
no.
and they all come in with their wheelchairs and their, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and the whole thing, and half of them are on medication or drunk or sad because they lost money, and and then there's a couple, gay guys in the back that think they're as funny as I am.
Right. Right. There's
And then
always
the entertainment director is gay, and and he's trying to pretend that he's not because he doesn't want to get fired.
right. Yeah, they still do that on the yeah. That happens a lot on
It's like when you get there, they go, the first thing they say on the cruise ship is, okay, everybody, we're going to do the whole test of what happens if you need to
the
get
muster drill or whatever.
mustard
Right.
test, and then I want you to turn your clocks back to 1978. You know,
No, it's true. No, you're right, man. It's true.
and it's the people that it's not just it's not the audiences as much. It's the people that book it.
Yeah.
They procure a sort of sexist, racist, and I mean, people said things to me. You wouldn't, but we didn't care that you were gay. It just was so Jewy. And why did you have to be so loud?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so the first show was okay, and then the second show was just abominable. And
Yeah.
there was one guy named Pinky in the audience, so I was playing with him, and
Right.
then half the audience, why are you picking on Pinky? He was a straight guy that loved to wear pink,
Right.
and the whole thing was
They were defending Pinky?
they hated
Seems a little
right.
weird.
And the second show, somebody apparently had almost died and needed a certain kind of blood, so they stopped my show in the middle. So that made the show a lot of fun.
Right.
There's someone almost dead. How can we continue this? And
Now
then
you just need to recreate that for every show.
some
Now,
woman screamed out, "You're insensitive!"
oh.
It's like B. Arthur was there.
Yeah. So I guess you're not doing them anymore.
No. And the guy said, and it was so funny because they could not have been nicer before. And then afterwards, it was like they completely ghosted me.
Really?
Everybody, I said to her, I finally said, honey, come here. She said, it's okay. I told you this is, because the first thing she said to me was, you're the first out comedian we've had on the ship. I said, oh my God, so, and were the blacks last year? What happened?
Yeah.
It's just, it was like such a weird thing to say.
Did she make you whisper when you said blacks?
I didn't say that. No, but it was just very weird. The whole thing was there's this fear, this constant fear. It's like the waiters are, they work 7 days a week and they're running around crying. And and you go to back to your cabin, which is usually right next to the people that work there, and it smells like old socks.
Yeah.
And it's 4 miles and you have to figure out how to get there and don't talk to the people and don't do this. I mean, it's just so completely weird.
I was gonna say, because we were talking earlier about comics and gay and stuff. I've never seen an openly gay comic on a cruise ship.
Well, Jim David did it for a while, and I
Okay.
heard he was really great
Okay.
at it. But he's also Southern, and I don't know. I'm if somebody offered me, I would maybe try it, but only in a comedy club.
Right.
That I could, do. And I don't really care about who these two of them. They do those half hours, but then they want you to do 16 different half hours. And I can't even remember what I did in the first show.
Right. Well, it depends on the line. I do celebrity a lot, and it's mostly theater shows. So you do the theater 3 times in the week, and you do 2 that are clean, once an adult. And then other lines, next time on Norwegian, which is all 45-minute shows. So I work for different lines, and they have different structures. I like that. I like changing the structure a little bit. But I know Princess was doing those lounge things because they changed their format.
It just didn't work.
Right.
It just seemed like I was in a cave where Dexter, stabbed people. The whole place and
trying to get out.
And what was really even worse is they had a Victor Borga kind of act in the main lounge, the main theater,
God.
at the same time as my show was on.
Right.
So they're not going to come to see me when they've got Victor Borga, and his posters all around, and mine's like Jason Stuart.
You don't even have a poster. It's like
it goes on, but really fast.
Yeah, just comedy everywhere. As you're back to that vibe.
They don't know where it is or what it is.
No, they don't know your name. You're the comedian. You're the funny guy.
About you, and
right.
It's just, and they don't want to listen to us. So, and then the agent wouldn't even ever return my call.
Was it Casino? Don Casino? You don't have to name the agent. I didn't even think about it.
Someone out of Vegas. It's a guy who never returned, and then he finally returned a call 3 months later. And I said, just curious, why did you go, and then I called him, and they forgot to pick me up at the airport, and then
that happens occasionally.
Couldn't get to the ship, and then it took 3 hours, and I had to go by, Nicaragua, and
Yeah, sometimes they do the thing where they don't get you to the ship, and then when you get on, they don't give you enough information when you're on. Like when you start out,
no, it's
just like, okay, here's your key, and you're like, okay, what does that mean? Where do I go? I don't know. Well, you're in this cabin. You're like, okay, where is that? How do I find it?
She was great to me. She read my resume, and she was really nice until it didn't work out, and then she ditched me.
Yeah, was she the cruise director or the entertainment director?
I think the cruise director, and then I went and had my teeth whitened and had some Botox and left.
There you go. Sure, there you go.
Right.
Yeah, took advantage of the spa and you moved on. Yeah, but no, I still do. I like them. I find a way to make them work. That's it, and that's where
comedy clubs the comedy club whole idea of it now is so different.
Yeah,
it's all about social media. And when I don't know when I headlined comedy clubs for like around 25 years. So for me, when I couldn't afford a publicist, I would just send it through the emails through a company, and then I'd hire a kid to to represent me and call all this. We'd call the gay magazine, I'd get the cover, the entertainment
Smart.
magazine, I'd get pick of the week, the LA, their version of the New York Times or the LA Times, I would get a story. Then
Right.
I would send them a clip from any show that I've been on, and I had been on all the 4 or 5 networks.
Right.
So I'd say, oh, here's, House that was on Fox, I think it was. I don't even remember. But whatever. Here's my wife and kids from ABC, and I'd hit the ABC local, and we'd do the thing, or they'd have a morning show or an afternoon show. And I learned how to be on a show and talk, do jokes for my act and get people to come.
Right.
Not. I remember when I worked for. I was the opening act. It was one of my first jobs in San Jose. The Laughs Unlimited, was that what it was
Yeah.
called?
Yeah, that was a club.
Don't have sex with the waitresses. I said, don't worry. you know, and they get there and they'd give you a car to drive at the airport. I said, no one's picking me up. I came from being an actor. I thought, I don't know how I'm supposed to look for a car.
Yeah.
What is it, Easter egg hunt? I'm Jewish, so you find the key.
Wow, they trusted a comic with a car?
It was,
That seems weird.
a clunker, and then you go to the place, and there was things all over don't flush the hotel, the comedy condo, little signs of what.
Yeah, of course,
don't-
all over the
how to,
room.
how to
Yeah.
move, how to change the
How to use the coffee pot? Don't do this. Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, don't breathe on Thursdays at 3 o'clock, and
Don't talk to the neighbor.
exactly that.
Right.
And don't have sex with the waitresses.
Sure.
And of course, the guy that booking it, I forgot. I think his name was Joe. He had sex with the waitresses. And
Sure,
then I
of course.
left. But I remember I did, and then I remember the headliner the week before was somebody really famous. I'm not going to say her name, but she wasn't. She was a very much of a monologist, so her skill at radio was not very good. And
Right.
they were talking about her, and I went with the headliner, and I can't remember who it is. And I said to him, I said, "Can I go with you to the radio show? I've never been to one." He said, "Sure." And then I sat off to the side, and then they would say things to me, and of course, make fun of me, and I made fun back.
Right.
And then I thought, oh, okay. And then I heard them talking, and I said, look, well, we're not going to be able to have her back next week. She's not good on radio. It doesn't matter how great she was in the club. If they don't know she's good, we can't,
Right.
and that
Gotta
so
sell the ticket.
exactly. So I thought, I'm going to have to learn how to do this,
Right.
and that's what I did is I learned how to do it, and I'm still good at it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. No, you market yourself, push yourself. That's great. Reaching out to the press and hiring a kid to call people is a really great idea. That's really smart.
Yeah, I used to have, well, I did it all, not just for everything. I had somebody who wanted to be in show business, and I had a big kitchen table in my office and 2 chairs, one on either side, and I'd hold up a sign, say this, say this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they finally got good at it, And I
Yeah.
had a little thing, and I would do 2 weeks a month, and maybe a college, a gay event, and I just kept saving my money, and I had so much energy. Now, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
I do one gig. I go to LA to shoot a film for a couple days and do one stand-up thing, and I'm home. I have to sleep for 3 days.
Yeah. Right. Right. Well, how much stand up are you doing now with all the production work you're doing?
Usually I'll do 2 sets a month,
Okay.
2 or 3, depending. It also depends. I go through periods where there's more. This month is going to be just one, I think, because I'm so involved in this film.
Right.
I don't have time to think about it even. I'm just
Yeah.
in a place. So I just sort of gave myself some time. Because I'm actually in the editing room,
Right.
dealing with the composer and dealing with the sound mixer and the editor, and it's just a lot of stuff and looping things.
Right. Are you you guys have how far are you along in production? You're shooting? Have you got everything shot or are you still
It's a shot. We have 3 more scenes to edit,
okay?
and it's really beautiful. It's just a beautiful film. I really love the way it looks. I mean, certainly there are things that I had to compromise on because of money, which and not having enough time to maybe procure an actor's performance the way I would want it to exactly. So I'm cutting around things, and
Right.
my editor is also a director, Billy Cliff. So I'm working with, and he was also my DP. So I have
That helps though, right?
Oh
Doesn't
God,
it? Big time? Yeah.
yeah, and he's really terrific. So, and just this is so inside baseball, but you can take a shot like this, and if you decide that you want to come in really close, you can pull it closer.
Right.
You can And if you leave it really bright, you can change the lighting on it now. So
Right.
there's so many things in adding a track of music, adding the sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And mine takes place in 74, 78, 81, and 14. So
Wow.
getting a really great art director so that
Yeah.
and clothes and costume designer and hair person. I had all these really great people
Right.
who just really created this look of a different time, you know.
Man,
And
that's
that was so exciting to watch.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
because what I love is a movie where someone doesn't tell you something, where you see it.
Right. Yeah.
You see that it's this kind of cup that they used at a certain time. You see you hear a radio commercial come on as someone turns it off. You know, you see somebody's hair that's a certain way, or the
Yeah.
way the mom smokes the cigarette, or you know.
Well, it's almost it's an equivalent of association. It brings you back.
Oh yeah.
It brings you into that moment. I mean, that's like a great film brings you into a moment instead of if you got to explain everything, you're not doing
I
your
think
right.
so. I think so. You know, I have to see everything also, but I'm just, you know, that's the kind of movie I like.
Yeah. Well,
So
I love
I do things. I'm making what I want to watch.
no,
Oops,
that's
I just push the whole desk. I
that's
can't get
perfect.
comfortable in my own house.
You need to do it in your bedroom with a bed behind you. Then you would feel much more
Well, this
comfortable.
is a bed. If you
Oh,
come and stay with me, you sleep here. It's comfortable for 1 or 2 nights because I don't
okay.
want to here too long.
Oh, okay. All right, that works out. Excuse me. Yeah, I was reading the promo about or reading about the film. It hits home a little bit to me, sort of on a level of when someone dies, everybody loses their fucking mind. The families lose their mind when it comes to property, houses, and all this stuff. And I went there with my mom about a year and a half ago. And my mom didn't have a lot of stuff, but she passed away. But then it was just a shit show to to go into the house and who's going to get this and we're going to move that and you know what I mean. It just
Mhm.
family changes and people get weird and it's just it's an uncomfortable moment and it's a difficult moment because somebody passes. You know what I mean? The whole thing is just traumatic and you have I don't like I didn't get involved in the whole breakdown in the movie, but I understand the concept of the two different families living together and what to do when mom passes or
Well,
when the
it's about
parents.
two different families that live on the same property, a black
Right.
family, and a white family, and the white family lives in the big house, and the black family lives in the carriage house or the, you know, mother-in-law or whatever you call the cassette, the
Right.
small house, and he's the gardener and she's the cook and the maid of these people.
Right.
And this house is, you know, if I did it to a feature, this would be a family house that was owned by the, you know, the dad's family, and he's a bit of an alkie, and she's this, you know, prom queen. It's Alexander from Paul from Baywatch.
Right. Right.
It's an incredible performance. So, you know, she pulls a Pamela Anderson. There is life after Baywatch, and
Yeah.
everybody is a one-trick pony, and everybody, you know, I'm certainly a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that. And I think that if I, you know, like I had a book come out 5 years ago. It's called Shut Up, I'm Talking. If anybody wants to read about, you know, you can get this book on Amazon and or through CCB, what is it? CCB Publishing. But
Yeah.
you know, and Shut Up, I'm Talking,
Yeah.
or you can just go to my website, jasonstuart.com,
Yeah.
and buy it there. Um, and somebody wanted to make a documentary about me. Some people have been approaching me lately as I get older, and I thought, what should I call it? You know, underappreciated. You know, I know that's a joke, but underestimated.
Right.
I think I'm the guy that people thought would disappear.
Right. Yeah.
He could do one thing. He's this funny gay guy. You know, that's it. Oh, no one's going to want that after a while. You know, but
You
I
know,
think.
that's what. Yeah, that's what's interesting to me about this business too. Is that you'll meet a handful of people. People think they size you up, and then they got you figured out. You know what I mean? It's like they go, "Oh, he can only do this. Move on." Like they don't
I haven't
understand.
even figured out what I can do.
It's
You
great.
know what I mean? I look
Great.
at myself in a movie or I look at other people and I watch and I go, there's this scene in the movie with Alexander where she plays my mother in the movie
Right.
and we're the same age. So she's playing my mom and we spent almost $100 making, you know, and she won't lie about it, but she had a bottom facelift for her neck. So I spent $1,000 bringing it back
Yeah.
uh, because she looks terrible.
Right. She's probably thrilled. She's like,
She's an
"Thanks a lot."
actually, she's a drop dead beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I mean, she's gorgeous. And, this is a picture of her in the film in
Oh yeah.
1994.
I got it right here on my screen. Yeah.
And then and then there's a picture of her when she's in her late 70s, early 80s, around 80-ish. And she is so good in this movie. And there's a scene where oh, here it is. And this is her.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a scene in the film where she starts to cough and wants to smoke her last cigarette. And that's what my dad did a day before he passed away. He said, "Could you light my cigarette?"
Oh
And
wow.
what was I going to do? No,
Yeah, right. But yeah,
no,
right.
how dare you? And I lit a cigarette and she starts to cough. And there's this whole back and forth between us. And it's so real. And I'm watching it and going, oh man, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so hard to be real in a movie. That's, and that's something I've always been good at. But I want to take things to a new level
Yeah.
of stuff, not just now, but, having all the moments and the happy accidents and the physical behavior and everything. There's just even a little moment where I pull her little turban. I just, I see that it's coming off a little. And the things that I
Yeah.
would do with my own mom, who's 88, just little moments that I love watching in a film. And she's so good. We had a fly go by in the scene.
Yeah.
And she said, "Is that happening or am I just seeing?" And she stayed in character. She said,
Yeah.
"Oh,
That's
imagine."
great.
I said, "No, no, no." And she said, "Well, make sure you close the." And I
Dude,
said,
talk about being present in a moment in a scene. You know what I mean? In character. That's phenomenal. That's amazing.
yeah.
And you use everything for the scene. That's great.
And just going to a place, I realize what is it about? Because stand up, I certainly have my 10,000 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
What is it about? It's like you can do it and not think about who's there watching you.
Right, right,
Stakes are each time we go up. Because each time we go up, there's some sort of stake.
right,
Whether you want to get the job again, whether the club manager's watching you,
right,
whether you're working on new material for something else and you want to make sure that it's good and you could remember it in the right way, whether there's somebody in the audience that can hire you or book you on a show,
right,
there's always something, or there's somebody in the audience, there's a comedian that you've known forever and they never really saw you and you want them to think you're great.
right. Yeah,
So what is it about? What is it that I see other actors that are, or other comedians? It's being relaxed. And at the same time, it's having incredible focus
mhm,
and not letting anything in.
right.
And the first time I realized that I was working on a movie with Faye Dunaway, of all people. And she has this moment where she says, you're in my eye line. You need to move. And I thought, well, that's really sort of. And then I realized years later what she was doing. It's almost like, could you imagine being on stage doing stand up and somebody going like this to you? Hey, it's like
Yeah,
when somebody's talking there, it's like, and all of a sudden you can't do your work.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Or when you see, they say, oh, that person, they're so mean. They had a little fit. Well, sometimes you're so emotional in a scene or so angry or so something, so in such turmoil that something pops out
right.
and you just can't. Um, I don't know about, well, have you acted a lot? I don't know if
Yeah,
you.
I've done. Yeah, it's been mostly stand-up for the last 15 years, but I did a lot of.
So when you're acting and you're in something so big, sometimes I don't know whether I am feeling something or I'm feeling something because I've manufactured it because I'm where I'm at in the scene.
Right.
It's like in my series, when you watch it, he beats up on my character the whole time.
Yeah.
After a couple of weeks of this, I was
Yeah,
just,
dude. There's a lot of slapping going around in that. I watched some of it this morning. Yeah,
oh,
I mean,
well,
you're
not
getting
just
roughed
the
up.
physical, that was not, but just he's so brutally mean to my character.
Right. Yeah.
And mine has little fits all the time.
Yeah.
But it got to me after a while
Yeah.
because he liked to play when the cameras weren't rolling.
So it's all day. So it's dragging between
And he
scenes and
didn't,
at lunch and
and he was not one of those people that make you feel safe.
Yeah.
He thought that was the way to keep us all on edge. And I can do that without, I don't feel safe in life anyway. So I don't need
Right.
anybody to help me with that part, you know. So, but so there's that I've learned, and I'm really in a new place with that as an actor.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I'm working on my crowd work in a completely different way as a stand-up because I see what's going on now, and I want to do a special, not an hour special of just the same audience. I want to do 3 or 4 or 5 different places with different costumes, different clubs, different, everything different, everything.
Yeah.
5 different experiences of doing crowd work. So it'll be interesting and just the way we see it.
Oh, it
Instead of
is.
marrying what they do online to marry it to a special. And I realized, what am I doing wrong as I tape myself? I'm too funny. I'm going for the joke all the time
Yeah.
instead of pulling the story out of the person.
It's with your crowd work?
Yeah, so making sure I see Jessica Kirson, I see even the popular good-looking guy,
Right.
Matt Rife,
Yeah.
and they're not worried about being funny.
Right.
They're pulling it out of the person,
Right.
and that I don't do because my job was always to be funny
Right.
all the time.
Right.
It's like, singing, don't let the song stop.
Right. Well,
And
yeah,
now
look,
I'm trying to train myself to, it's okay if a minute goes by and there's no laughs.
right. Right. Silence is okay. Silence helps build the show. I do a ton of crowd work and I do this thing. It's on my YouTube. It's called Jokes in the Water. And it's just 1 to 3 minute clips of shows for the last 5 years. And it's all crowd work. Like I put content up maybe 2 or 3
I
times a
saw
week.
some things of that of yours. And when I
Yeah.
looked,
So I put them up as much as possible. But one of the differences now is exactly what you said. In the old days, you won't, well, even now, you need to control the room and be in charge of the room. And that's what made you go for the laugh so quickly. My crowd work is a lot more aggressive years ago. But you're right now, and I think social media is a big part of this.
oh yeah,
You got to know the people. You got to get the story out of the person, and there's got to be a connection. It's not just you slamming somebody and getting a laugh. You know what I
right.
mean? A lot of times I'm the guy that gets I'm the butt of the
Oh,
joke.
I always do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is first of all, that wins with the crowd anyway. That's just
yeah.
a mental association. They connect, and then you're real. You know what I mean? And then they feel comfortable, more comfortable. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you're right. That's how the crowd work
Well, you can
is.
say anything you want if you let yourself be vulnerable.
Sure, 100%.
You also have to have a reason to be there.
Right, right,
You have to, whether it's who you are, you look at a gay Jewish man of a certain age like me, who's not perfect, then you think I have permission to say things that you would not have permission to say,
right. Exactly.
especially to women
Yeah,
or to some a good, if you see my original, my TV special, making it to the middle, there's this bit I used to do about Barbie and Ken. And you see this couple and they're so beautiful. No one cares
yeah.
what you say to them because, they just don't care because they're going to go out. They're going to have a great life after this.
Right, right,
We're going to
right.
have to go out, be on our diet, throw up after we ate too much, go home and cry because, the boy or the girl didn't call you. And, not them. There's a list.
Yeah, they've already it's embedded into them.
Yeah. I
They're
try to
already have it.
actually do 15-minute sets now without any material at all, which
Oh,
is
that's great.
that's what I'm working on. I'm doing this for the next year.
That's a good learning exercise, bro, to teach yourself on stage how to be there. You know what I mean? And
Right.
trust yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Chateau has let me do that a lot.
Oh, right on. Yeah, Felix is great about that stuff. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And so in Long Beach at the Laugh Factory, I feel comfortable doing that. But you never know who's watching you in Hollywood or somewhere or somewhere
Right.
and you want to be, on point.
Yeah, I know. That's a little. Yeah, I had that conversation with my daughter last night. She asked me, somebody was taping at the show, and she goes, "Why is that bad?" And I explained to her why. I go, "Because comics don't want you to tape their stuff because maybe they're working on it, and
Yeah, but does it matter anymore? Oh my God. I
yeah,
did a show 20 years ago in a college and they put the whole show on some YouTube. They cut it and I called them and I said, "How dare you?" And I made them take it down.
yeah,
And I thought, because it was stuff I was working on and
yeah,
I didn't want to be taped yet.
yeah,
And I didn't want to put material on burn stuff. And now, who cares?
yeah. I know. Well, guys were worried about putting stuff up because I knew a lot of guys were worried about people stealing stuff. They're like, I don't want to put it online because people steal it. But now I'm like, well, just write more. Now you gotta keep writing. You gotta keep creating. Now you gotta create. You used to be able to have an act and go on the road, and you could do that act for years. Like the old, do a 45-minute to an hour act. And I knew a lot of guys that did that, that lived that life. I couldn't do that. It drove me crazy. If I didn't turn over 20 minutes of stuff every year, I would lose my mind.
It was more like 15 for me, is I would get
Yeah,
15 stuff
yeah,
of
that's.
really solid
But
material.
you still got to turn it over. You got to, if you're not creating more stuff, you're just
Or
spewing
as
out.
or as the sections of things that I talk about became wider.
Right.
Like my mom has become because my mom lives next door to me.
Yeah.
So she,
Oh, that's
hashtag,
great.
I don't live with my mother. She lives next door.
That's look at see. My mom's upstairs.
Oh, really?
No, I'm fucking with you. No, no, no. I'm in the valley. I have my own place. Thank you very much, Jason. Um,
You live in the Valley?
yeah,
In
Sherman Oaks.
Hollywood?
Huh?
In Hollywood?
Sherman Oaks.
No, no. Why do you live there if you're on the cruises? It's
You know why? I have two daughters who and we're just at the breaking point where I'm
the
moving.
breaking point.
We
I
I
love
told
it. Just the
once
breaking point.
I
You got
told
to
them
get out.
when they got through college, because I don't need to be here anymore. I don't need to be in LA. You know what I mean? I think I'm moving to Vegas next year. That's what I'm looking at.
Oh no.
Yeah, I like Vegas.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I love Vegas. It's a
Fake
good time.
Europe? You love fake Europe?
I like it. I'm fine with it. You know what? What's important to me? A good airport to get in and out of. That's
Uh-huh.
convenient. And then there's pickup work around Vegas, and I'm fine.
Tons of it. Tons.
And Vegas is relatively close to here, where my daughters are still going to be,
Exactly.
so I can get here, and I can
Palm
fly here in
Springs is
40.
better though.
Yeah, I know a lot of. Yeah, I like Palm Springs too. And it's more beautiful. It's gorgeous down
It's
there.
a little more cultural. The people are a little more cruel. You're not going to walk around and see somebody, there's something about that, the 12 steps of life are there. The shopping, the sex, the drugs, the gambling,
Yeah,
drinking. It just seems like that kind of person is everywhere.
yeah, right. Where in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Here it's a little less.
yeah. You're right. You're probably farther away from the element. That's a really good thought. I never even thought about Palm Springs. You know why? Because it's farther from airport. I got a couple friends that live out there and work ships, but they got to travel to LAX to fly out. Or I'm sorry, what's the other airport?
Orange County.
Yeah, that one, or the one in the East Desert or Inland Empire. What's that other airport over there?
I don't know. I never went to that one.
Yeah, I always forget. I can't remember. I'm not.
But you realize that driving 3 hours is not such a big deal anymore. It's a lot rather than being locked in an airport with, somebody bossing you around and sitting around and the plane is late and oh God, they forgot to close the door and the captain doesn't know what day it is and the flight attendants are late or, oh God, there was just too much rain that day and someone cried or, I mean, it's just like it's always something
Yeah.
now. I mean, years ago, do we have gas? Okay, we're going.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what goes on. I don't understand what happened. First, there were no problems, and now there's tons of them.
Yeah. I blame the internet.
And nothing to eat, and $40 for a sandwich, in a Coke and whatever it is you're getting, and
yeah,
and you're
crazy.
and you're buying a book because you're bored, and you've spent $100.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be in the car, make a sandwich, and bring my shirts and hang them up so this way they don't get all wrinkled.
See, that's a brighter side. That's a good way to look at it too. What do you think of that? I'm gonna have to look at Palm Springs and give it another thought. Maybe I'll live on the other side of you.
Are you married?
I have a girlfriend though.
Are
We're
you
moving in together next year.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's the
then,
plan.
what does she do?
She's a travel nurse, so she
Oh, this is perfect.
yeah, it works out well. So, but she's raising a niece. She has a 15-year-old niece, so I'll have another teenage girl in the house.
Dear
which
God.
I wasn't planning on, but we're there.
Well, you're a sweet guy.
I try. I try.
I get a guy that gives me his real number. That's all.
All right, man, let's wrap this up. Jason, I can't thank you enough for doing the show, man. I do.
Thank you.
I apologize for the shirts. I felt like an ass for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, you should because it's gonna be really sad. And in all the promo, that's what you have to do. Jason Stuart made me change my shirt.
I will do it for sure. I should have changed it immediately. I don't know why I didn't think about it.
Well, because you don't have enough, you don't value me as a person.
You ass. I know you're gonna say that. It's great. Anything you want to plug, go right ahead and plug it.
Just jasonstuart.com, Stuart. Go to my thing, click on my IMDb, click on my appearances, click on my news page, and you'll see everything that's going on. All my social media is on that page. And, connect with me. Hope to talk to everybody out there. I always answer my own stuff. And if I don't do it fast, I will get to you.
Right on. All right, Jason. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.